So I create the submission box on e-learning already, right? I create the submission box on e-learning for the deadline of the video presentation and then of the group report within a work file or PDF. So you can refer to the deadline on e-learning, okay? And then prepare for the submission. Okay, so any question here? Okay, I think that Vin is want to ask me something, right? Vin want to ask me something? Is it?
Well, no, nothing like big, but just you mentioned about the guest lecturer. I understand that all the other students here are Vietnamese, but he was speaking most of the time in Vietnamese, so I did not get any of that. So it's just like a feed, but I felt like it's just waste of my time listening to hours of speech that I don't understand. So just as a feedback.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Vin. So because when I invite that guest speaker here, so he is like one of the students of Dr. Duc, and then I suppose that it's not I suppose, but I did tell him that to share with you in English, right? However, that one problem is that he haven't doing this for such a long time, and then he worked in like a Vietnamese corporation in Vietnam, and then the transaction or maybe a contract were prepared in Vietnamese, so he may forget some of the Vietnamese word. So maybe in your group, Vin, all the students, right, when they understand his sharing, so they can share back with you about that, right? I'm really sorry for that because
no
it's
problem.
not what I expect.
They will share it. Thank you, but just like a notion that I don't know if it was mentioned, but no problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so that's something about the sharing, right? However, group report is just one of the things, to practice the knowledge you learn here in the reality, okay? But the more important thing, you need to pass the course, okay? That is the first, like the key priority right here. So study to like enlarge your knowledge is one thing, but firstly, you need to pass the course, okay? And then prepare for your final exam. So because you have all of the section before the military course, and then after the military course, you will have the final exam. So this means that 1 month off, right? And then if you don't prepare, if you don't study carefully, if you don't take notes, so that will affect your performance in the final exam. Okay, so you are last year student already, so I don't want all of you to fail the course, right? So at least try your best to reach the minimum level, okay, the average point. All right, so that's why we need to come to the L section. This means I will like give you the time to practice the question and then ask you, right? So I think that maybe you practice that question at home, like similar to other previous tutorial section. Okay, so today our section we learn about another like valuation method. Okay, that is market comparable. All right, so before we jump to the section, so I would like to ask something like, how is your report? Is it good until now? Or if you have anything that you want to ask me, and then you want to have a meeting with me, right, to give advice for your report, so just ask me, okay? So I will try my best to give you the advice for your group report, okay, as well as what is going on with your valuation method, right? I think that many of you may choose the market comparable. That is fine for me, right? However, that the calculation step for the market comparable, for example, like the PE ratio or the EV, like enterprise to enterprise ratio. So this is quite easy, right? Because you need to find out the comparable in the market and then based on that to make the valuation. However, if some of you use the cost approach, okay, so it tends to relate it to what is called the cash flow generated from the valuation project. Okay, so that require you more calculation step, and then that must be presented on your Excel file, right? Combined together with the work file in your submission. Okay, so any question here? I think that maybe Thảo, right? Want to ask me something? You just unmute, right? Thảo, is it? Minh Thảo?
No, I'm not unmute.
It's not you. Okay, right. Sorry. Maybe Phương Thảo. Maybe from Phương Thảo. All right, don't worry. Phương Thảo, is it? You just unmute.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. So all right, so if you have anything like to ask me, so just feel free to send me an email or maybe just ask me right, to have a meeting with your group, for example. Okay, So two of the popular like valuation method that I mentioned to you when you do the valuation, right? You can refer to the guest speaker. However, you should relate something you learned to the evaluation report, including what is called a cost approach, right? You estimate the cash flow generated in the future for that valuation project, discount it to the present using the discount rate of that corporation, and then come up with the let's call the value of the project when compared with the cost. Okay, so that is very popular here for the valuation report, and then you can use a comparable as well. Okay, and then you can combine those two as well. Okay, so that will bring a lot of point or maybe like value to your result. Okay, so that's something you need to be mindful about. And then here we should jump into the revision. Okay, we just have two more sections. So now we talk about chapter 14. That is the market-based approach in valuation. Okay, so here let me share a little bit again the slide. I'm not sure you remember it or not, but I think I need to share with you again. Okay, so right here, the slide. Okay, this is the slide we learned in the previous section about the market-based approach. Okay, so here we learn about the market-based approach. So this is not similar to the market comparable that we learned in topic 2, right? However, now we will explain, we will try to use some of the comparable, some of the multiple, the market multiple, including the market to book ratio, the price to earning ratio, and then the price earning growth ratio, okay, to provide an efficient shortcut in the valuation project when you can deep dive into the information of the stock, and then by comparing the characteristic of profitability, risk, growth, and then value with the information we have for the share price. So how can it affect to the share price given the information of the company? Okay, and here, right, this is not something new you learn about the valuation approach. However, you will apply what is called a residual income model. Okay, the one that you learned in the previous topic, to estimate the value of the company, and from that you estimate the intrinsic stock price of a company, right, based on the residual income model. Okay, residual income model is when you just estimate the difference between the required income and then the comprehensive income, right? So after you come up with that money, with that value, you will discount those value back to the present, okay, using the discount rate, and then you multiply again with the equity, the book value of equity at the beginning of the year. Okay, so to come up with the value of the firm. All right, so that's not what I will explain to you again, but you learned about it already. So you should be able to familiar with the technique. Okay, and one thing here you learn that is quite important is that the market to book ratio and the value to book ratio. Okay, so one of the questions did appear in the previous final examination is that Dr. Duc asked you to compare what is the difference between the market to book ratio and then the value to book ratio. So firstly, it seems to be the same, right? Because when we talk about market, we talk about value. However, here, if we talk about market to book ratio, it means you use the current market price, okay, or the current market value of that company, including what is called a common shareholder equity. However, the value to book ratio is when you take the value divided by the book value of the company, right? But the value here is not the market value, that is the intrinsic value of the company. And that is estimated based on two possible approaches. The first one is here. You can estimate the value, right, for the value to book ratio based on the residual income model, right? The one that we learned in the previous topic. That is called a market-based approach. And then we can also use what is called here, I think that, okay, value to earning growth ratio. Okay, so clearly we can use the residual income model to come up with the intrinsic value of the company. That is totally different with the current market value of the company. Okay, so how can we estimate the intrinsic value and then to come up with the value to book ratio and for compare, right, to make investment on the stock? So you can use the market to book ratio and then the value to book ratio to have the best decision in investment in the stock. Okay, so here let's jump into the discussion. Is that you may need to examine how can we come up with the value to book ratio, okay, from scratch, right, step by step. All right, so let's jump into the what is called the question. Okay, because practice the question is one of the easiest way for you to remember the information, the knowledge. Okay, so wait a little bit. I will open the file here, and then I think that you need to have a look first for today's question. Okay, so today's question is topic 6. We have only 2 problems. Okay, 14.21, 14.23. All right. However, we still have some small sub question here. Okay, so let's move to problem 14.21 first. Okay, and as usual, right, I will call someone here to answer the question and record your answer, right, as a kind of adding your contribution to the participant score. Okay, so for problem 14.21, we have A, B, C, and D. Okay, so A, B, C, D, we have something here. All right, so maybe one student for question A and B, one student for question C, and then one student for question D. Okay, so 3 students for problem 14.21. All right, any volunteer? Firstly, A and B for 14.21. All right, if no one volunteer, I will call the one that haven't raised the hand. Okay, remember today's section, I will show you the technique on how you can come up with the sensitivity analysis, one of the important part for your valuation report to analyze the risk. Okay, so please stay focused. Okay, so Minh Thuận, right? I think I call you one time. I think yes. I call Minh Thuận one time, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if no one here volunteers, so I will call Minh Thuận. Okay, yes, Thuận, can you share the screen?
So can you see my screen now?
All right, we can see your screen very clear.
So for the question A, they asked us to use the CAPM to compute the required rate return for the common equity for the Enron. So you can see here the case study they gave us. The risk-free rate of return were 4.3%, and the market premium were 5%. And for the beta, the beta is equal to 1.7. So for the question A, we simply apply the formula CAPM, and I can calculate the required rate of the required rate of return on the common capital for the Enron. It's equal to 12.8%. And for the question for the question B, they asked us to compute the market to book ratio of the company. So firstly, I need to find out the market value of the common shareholder equity, and it's also is in the case they give us the Enron had the market capitalization of 62,530 millions. So we got the numbers here, and the book value for the common shareholder equity will be equal to 11,470 is here. And I take the market value and divide by the book value, and I got the market to book ratio between equal to 5.45. And the second, they asked us to compute the price to earnings per share. So for the PE ratio, we need to find out the current share price, and it is equal to $83 per share here, and the earning per share is equal to 1.19. So from that, I can calculate the PE ratio, which I take the $83 and divide it by 1.19, and I get the PE ratio. And for the forward PE ratio, I find the consensus forecast earning per share, and it's already give here the number here 1.31%, and I also take the same formula PE ratio, and I got the number here 63.36.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you, Thuận. So I think that's pretty good, right? And then, you know, for question A and B, right, just sum up the basic calculation and then CAPM. Okay, so you see that in any question, right, you know, whether the chapter that we have, so we always ask you to estimate the CAPM, right? So you know the importance of CAPM in valuation. That will help you to evaluate the risk of the company, right? The cost of capital. Okay, so please pay attention to CAPM, and of course, it will appear in your final exam. Okay, it's not just only the calculation, but maybe the theoretical question about CAPM. Okay, right. And one more thing is that Dr. Đức really loves CAPM, so obviously he will give you the question for CAPM in your final examination. Okay, right, just something here. And B, right, use the AEN. All right, so market to book, price to earning, and then forward price to earning, right? Just the difference on the price, the earning per share, right? The forward earning per share. So it could be different here for 2001 and for 2000. So we have a different earning per share. So that's why we come up with a different PE ratio. Okay. All right. So I think that is pretty good for A and B, right? Thank you, Thuận. So that's just like some of the starting for the problem 14.21, right? Okay. So now we have another question. Is that C? Okay. The question C is very simple. Is that, you know, they just ask you to use the technique what is called reverse engineer. Okay, the share price, and then so for the implied expected return. Okay, so using some of the following assumption. All right, so here, can anyone explain for me that question C? All right, so to do the reverse engineer, so it means you need to apply some of the Excel technique, okay, to come up with the expected return, right? To come up with the implied expected return on this company share at the end of 2000. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, right, any volunteer? I think that this question is a little bit difficult, right? And you know, anyone here volunteer for that question C in 14.21? Any volunteer? Well, if not, so I will have to call randomly. Okay, especially for the student, I haven't called your name, so I will have to call randomly. Okay. So I think that we just have only like 21, maybe 22 students raising the hand from the beginning until now, and then we still have around like 10 students that haven't raised the hand. Okay, so I will call one of you to answer the question. Let's see. Okay, so because you work in group to prepare the questions, so I think you must know about how can you come up with the number. Okay, so let's see what we have here. The man, we have 5 groups. Okay, so the student that I want to call is Mỹ Duyên. All right, Mỹ Duyên, are you here? Can you share with me your calculation? Okay, I see you here on the list. So can you share with me your calculation, your group calculation result?
So teachers, our group do the wrong one. We are doing the topic 7, is not topic 6.
Sorry, so it means that you haven't prepared for practical question in topic 6, your group?
Yes.
Okay, that is not good, right? Because you need to be careful for that as well. And then, you know, topic 7, we haven't learned. So how can you prepare the question here? Okay, so that is not acceptable for me. So I think, which group is this? Wait. This.
Teacher, so
Okay,
I want to say that my name is Minh
Thảo,
Thảo.
right? Okay, of course, Thảo, right? So can you can share the screen and then tell me.
So no, I just want to say that last week Dr. Đức taught us about the chapter 10 on the Tiefman textbook, which is topic 7.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, right. He didn't tell me anything about that. Topic 10, right? All right. So he haven't taught you the topic for the market-based approach. Happy? Did he teach you that chapter? 12? No, it's 14. He haven't teach you. He hasn't teach you. He hasn't taught you. Not yet?
Yes, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think that is something wrong here. Okay, so wait a little bit. Okay, because we're supposed to have that section first before we jump to chapter 10. All right, so just wait for me. All right, so just wait. Oh, okay, so if he haven't taught you that chapter, so how can Thuận present that chapter to me previously? I think that maybe the group, right? Thuận group, right? Prepare that question already. So I thought that he just, you know, shared with me what have been taught in the previous section, and then that group just prepare. All right, wait. I need to do something here. Okay, so just give me a second. So it means that your group haven't learned chapter 14. Haven't learned chapter 14. Is it? You haven't learned chapter 14 from the textbook of Warman for the market-based approach. You haven't learned? Or Dr. Đức just asked you, or have Dr. Đức asked you to read that chapter at home? No? Still no?
No. I remember that at the beginning of the class, he introduced to us the topic is market-based approach, but then he thought that he will teach us about the chapter 10 of the Tiefman textbook, not the.
Okay, right. That is like out of my expectation. So did he plan to teach you chapter 14 or not? Okay, because I didn't receive any information from him, so I suppose that you will learn that chapter already. So I just share with you, you know, the question. Okay, and then all right, so as we I'm not sure about this, however, you know, I will have to share with you that chapter, right? Maybe he skipped that chapter, but you know, there is an important technique that you need to be familiar with for your report, so I will share with you, right? We will jump into the topic 10 later. Okay, so maybe today I think that you haven't prepared for chapter 14, so I will share with you the explanation. Okay, is it good to do so? Is it good to do so, or you want to share with me any other like things you want me to share with you the solution, or you want to do another thing, right? Just let me know.
Please share us about the chapter 14.
Okay, so because you know that, right, I'm not sure whether Dr. Đức will deliver that chapter 14 later, or maybe he just skipped that chapter. I'm not sure, right? However, you know, I think that chapter is pretty important, right? At least for your exam. and then, you know, for some of the techniques for your valuation report. Okay, so I will share with you, right? Maybe you know that Dr. Duc really want to deliver the section for the private equity valuation because he have a great interest on that chapter. So he want to deliver that chapter first, right? However, you know, we will talk about the question in that chapter later. Okay, but now I think that I will share with you what is called a chapter 14. Okay, right, because here, all right, so give me a second. I didn't expect this to happen in the class, so wait a little bit. Okay, right. So the thing here is that, right, let me share the screen. Where's that chapter? All right, so I want you to follow with me at the same time for the topic 6. Okay, you haven't learned about topic 6, but I think that you may read topic 6 at home for the market-based approach for problem 14.21, right? So together you can open the textbook for problem 14.21 and then 14.23, right? And then we can do it together. Okay, so for this topic, it's not something new, right? Because the thing that you learn for the valuation is on topic 5 already. So I think that you guys can practice as well, right? The residual income model you learned in topic 5 already, so I think you should be familiar with this. And then, you know, I will apply topic 5 into topic 6 and then share with you the solution. Okay, so firstly, open the textbook to problem 14.21, and then if you want to have any information for the residual income model for valuation, so just open topic 5, right, for the slide presentation. Okay, so let's move to problem 14.21. Here, okay, wait for me. I will share with you the file. Okay, 14. All right, so actually for chapter 14 is not something to like too new for you, right? Because you know you learn about the calculation of the market-based approach, the valuation-based approach, and then you know like it's just similar as the comparable method, right? But it's just different on how you use the market indicator, like the market to book ratio or the value to book ratio, or maybe the price to growth ratio. Okay, here question 14.21, very simple, right? They asked you to estimate what is called A and B, right? And then I think that Thuận, right, present to you very clear about question A and B. Okay, just ask you about the cap aim, right? You know cap aim already to come up with the rate of return, and then market to book ratio, right? It means the market value divided by the book value, right, of common equity, price to earning, and then forward price to earning. Okay, so I think you can complete A and B easily, right? But for the C, right, the question C here, right, I want you to stay focused. Is that you see that we have a new thing called reverse engineering, and if you read chapter 14, so you will know the term of reverse engineering. Okay, so it means that you will base on the residual income model and then estimate the intrinsic value of this company to come up with the estimated stock price and compare that stock price with the current share price of the company to be 83. Okay, so to see that the stock is undervalued or overvalued, and if you want the estimated stock price to be 83, so what is the expected return? Okay, that should be replaced. That should be like deprived from the calculation. Okay, so we have some of the basic valuation like assumption here. The market price equal to value, and some of like the information, right? The payout, dividend payout ratio, and then the earning growth rate of the company, okay, to be 3% after year 25. Okay, so for question C, again, you will use what is called the residual income model. Okay, you learned that in chapter 5 already. Okay, so here that is quite popular, like quite familiar for you for the residual income model for question C, right? You see that? Earning per share, right? However, here, the difference is that, you know, I just estimate on a per share basis. Okay, previously, you know that if you take the comprehensive income plus what is called the beginning book value of like common equity, and then you minus the dividend payout, right? So the remaining amount that you have, okay, that is the ending book value. Okay, so I think that this may be that may sound familiar for you for the residual income model. Okay, however, here I just estimate on a shares basis. So I divided all of these components, right, by the number of shares outstanding to come up with this estimation. Okay, so here you know that earning per share of this company to be 1.131. So all of this information you have is from the question. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the calculation. However, you just need to pay attention to year 3 and then later on. Okay, because after year 3, okay, the earning per share is expected to grow at 10%. Okay, this is all in the question. So you can come up with the earning per share for year 3, right? Year 4 already 10%, and then it means that after year 5, okay, the earning per share is growing at 10% as well. So it means that long run, right, it should be 3% from the question. Okay, so it means that you just need to base on the information and then come up with the earning per share, right? So earning per share, when you multiply with the number of shares outstanding, that is just obviously the comprehensive income from the residual income model. Okay, and then the book value per share right here. Okay, so here previously we estimate book value, but now we estimate book value per share. So it means that you take all the thing on a per share basis. Okay, right? So book value per share, very simple. You know this already on the question, right? Number of shares outstanding, and then divided by, sorry, the book value divided by number of shares outstanding. That is the book value per share at the beginning of the year. Okay, at the beginning of the year. So for book value per share in year 2, right, in year 3, and then later on, you must take the beginning numbers. Okay, so again, right, from this number, you need to have another table, right? You see this table familiar, right? Okay, because that is the residual income model. Book value at the beginning of the year plus comprehensive income minus dividend. So it equal to book value at the end of the year, right? However, in this case, I just divided all the things, right, with the number of shares outstanding. So it means that now I have book value per share at the beginning plus earning per share, right, minus dividend per share equal to book value at the end of the year. Okay, so you can come up with the book value at the end of the year to be the book beginning value at the end of the next year. Okay, so right here you have the table, so you can use the information here for the beginning value of the book value, okay, at the start of the year for year 1 to year 5, and then long run, and then put it into the table, okay, for the second line. Okay, so now you see that we have required earning per share. It's just similar as required earning. However, I divided by the number of shares outstanding. So this is on a per share basis. Okay, so the abnormal earning in this case, right, or the residual income or residual earning per share is when you take what is called the earning per share, right, minus the normal or required earning per share. Okay, as you learn, residual income equal to comprehensive income minus required income. Okay, so that's how you come up with the residual earning per share. In this case, is on the per share basis. All right, so that is the residual earning per share. And then you know that based on this model, if you want to estimate the value of the company, so you discount, right, the earning per share from years to year. So that is like the residual earning per share from years to year, and then the horizontal value, which means that the terminal value, discount it back to the present to come up with the present value of the abnormal earning per share. Okay, or here I just replay into the residual earning per share for you to link with the topic 5. Okay, right. So very simple, right? You have the present value factors is on the calculation here. Okay, because you know that the present value factors, it just you discount the residual income from years to year back to the present using the discount rate to present the risk Okay, so you just estimate the risk, right? Required rate of return to be 12.8. So you just use it as a discount factor. Okay, and then you can come up with the present value of the residual earning per share. Okay, maybe I just replay to the residual, okay, earning per share, so that you may feel like familiar. Okay, so again, you can come up with the present value of residual earning per share, year 1 to year 5, and then long run, it means that the terminal value. Okay, the terminal value, so it means that we assume that the company earning per share will grow at a constant rate after year 5. It means that at 3%. So you can apply what is called the perpetuity growing model to estimate the terminal value. Okay, so constant growth and then 3%. So it means that earning per share, right? Residual in earning per share in the long run, it means that after year 5 divided by the growth rate, the required rate of return minus the growth rate of 3%. Okay, right here. Okay, you see that? Okay, so that is what is called the terminal value, and then present value. Okay, just multiply with the discount factors. Okay, right here. All right, so all together, the thing that we estimate, that is the present value of the residual earning per share, and then the book value per share, right? And all together is equal to the sum of PV of residual income, right? From the previous topic 5. Here, I just replay to the residual earning per share. Okay, and all right, so all together, you sum up the present value of the residual earning per share with the present value of the terminal value. Okay, so residual earning per share right here, it's just from year 1 to year 5, and then the terminal value is from like after year 5, right? Discount it back to the present, and then plot with the like common equity. Okay, common equity at the beginning of the year, or the book value at the beginning of the year, right, per share. So you have 9.88. Okay, so from this information, if you just have what is called a mid-year discounting, right, but it's not necessary right here, you can use this number as well if they don't mention anything about the mid-year discounting. So you can have the price, right, the value per share to be 9.88, right? And then if you consider the mid-year discounting, right, I explained to you about this already in topic 3. So you will have the value per share to be 10.51. Okay, so this is the estimated value per share of this company based on the residual income model. Okay, based on the residual income model. So the share price is just only 10.51. However, the current share price is up to 83. You see that? Okay, so obviously the value, right, the stock price of this company is severely overvalued. Okay, it means that now the market is valued this stock price to be like up to $83 per share, but the intrinsic value of this share is just only 10.51. Okay, so if you want to come up with the value to book ratio, so please use this number. Okay, because that will make the difference between the value to book ratio and then the market to book ratio. Okay, so here the market to book ratio, you use 83, and then the value to book ratio, you use the price of 10.51. Okay, right? So that is for the questions C. Okay, I think you need to take note carefully because you know this is not too easy, right? It's not easy for your exam. All right, so here, right, as I promised, so I will share with you what is called a sensitivity analysis, right, which is required for your valuation report. Okay, so sensitivity analysis and scenario analysis are the two basic methods when we want to measure the risk, right, of any kinds of company, right? Because given firstly the scenario analysis, you will put, right, you will give different scenario for that company, and then you assume, right, you give assumption to forecast the performance of the company, right, given the worst case, the best case, and then the normal case. That is the scenario analysis, right? However, for the sensitivity analysis, right, it is more like in detail. Okay, it means you know that for the valuation, this is all about assumption. I think that you may need to make lots of assumption, and right, that will lead you to different risk level. Okay, so here use the sensitivity analysis to come up with, if we have different assumptions, so what is the value of that company, right? So if you expect the growth rate of that company to be 3%, to be 5%, to be 10%, so what happened to the value of that company? Okay, that is a sensitivity analysis. So here you can use the Excel file to come up with the sensitivity analysis. Okay, so I will share with you the technique, right? So please pay attention. Okay, so here for question C, right? Okay, the question C require you to solve for the implied expected return. Okay, it means that if you want the value per share, right here, if you want this number to be 83, okay, listen to me carefully. If you want the value per share from the estimation to equal to the current share price of the stock to be 83, so what is your expected rate of return? Okay, so that is question C right here. So I will share with you the technique. All right, so that is necessary for you to run what is called the sensitivity analysis. Okay, so here, right, just pay attention to this slide. Okay, previously, you know that the rate of return for the company is 12.8%, right? That is from your estimation. And then from this estimation, you will have the value per share to be 10.51. Okay, right? So now you need to provide some of the possible rate of return here for you to come up with the price of the stock. Okay, so firstly, you know that 12.8% is somewhere between 12% and then 13%. So you may get, right, what is called here. Okay, so let me delete it to make it simple for you. Okay, so just look at this table. All right, and then give me some of the possible assumption for the rate of return. Okay, previously we have 12.8%, right here, 12.8%. So what if we have like a 12% or maybe 12.5, 13, and then 35? So what is the price of the stock? Okay, what is the intrinsic value of the stock? Okay, so here, follow my calculation. All right, so for this column, for this row, okay, just use the equal sign and then click on this one. Okay, that is I just show you about the value per share formula. Okay, so put it here. Okay, so later on, okay, just highlight all the table. Okay, maybe just for this part. Okay, all right, and then click on what is called the data and what if analyze it. Okay, click on data table. Okay, click here. Okay, so for this part, you see that the information you provided is on a row basis. Okay, it means that the input row, the row input cell to be like presented in row is not in column, right? So you can click here for the input cell. Okay, wait for me. Okay, so just give me a second. All right. So, okay, so if you click on the what if analysis, right, for the row table, for the row on the side, right, previously, you will see that, right, given the different rate of return, you will have different, right, value per share, right, different intrinsic value per share. You see that, right? You don't have to do lots of calculation, but just apply the what if analysis here, and then you see that, right? Higher rate of return is make the price to be lower. So if you want the price to be 83, what is the current market price of the stock? So it means you need to lower the rate of return, okay, to come up with the exact implied rate of return from the what if analysis. Okay, so here from this first table, I just showed you the negative relationship between the rate of return and then the value per share from the estimation. All right, higher rate of return, so it makes the value per share to be lower. Okay, and then if you want the value per share, it means that the price to be 83 right here, 83. So it means that you need to give different assumption for the rate of return to be lower than 12.8% or maybe 12%. Okay, so here I come up with another table, this one, and then I will run the same price sensitivity analysis. Okay, so you see that given this sensitivity analysis, the value per share, right, is higher and higher. If you lower the rate of return, it means that lower level of the risk. So right here, you see that the range of the price is between approximately 118 with 778. Okay, and then the price you want is 83. So it must be somewhere between 4% and then 4.5% for the value per share. Okay, so now you come up with another sensitivity analysis for different value of the rate of return from 4% to 4.5. Okay, you see that? Okay, and here, okay, that is the second table for the sensitivity analysis. And right, look into the table. And then you see that at 4.4%, the value per share is approximately 83.66. So it's nearly equal to your like estimated stock price, okay, to your market price of 83. Okay, so now you just need to have another sensitivity analysis for the third table, and you can find out, right, when the rate of return to be 4.41%. So the share price, okay, the intrinsic value of the stock price equal exactly to the market price of the stock, and then equal to 83. Okay, right, maybe I'm not sure about the exam, but maybe I will, you know, that Dr. Duc may require you to run this sensitivity analysis to find out the implied rate of return. So just follow the sensitivity analysis that I just present to you, okay, right here. Okay, so I think I will need to share with you again. Okay, I need you to be familiar with the technique for your valuation report, right? So for the price, put it here, and then for this row, okay, just click here for the value per share from your previous estimation. Okay, so now just highlight all of the table and then click on the what if analysis for the data table right here. Okay, so because you present, right, the rate of return is on the row basis, so it means that here you just need to click on the row input cell. Okay, and then that is equal to 10.51. Okay, so okay, click OK, and then you will have different value per share, a different rate of return. Okay, that is what we have, the one factor sensitivity analysis. Okay, you may have what is called two factor sensitivity analysis, right? It means that if you change two variables at a time, what happened to your valuation? Okay, for example, if you change the growth rate of that valuation, and then if you change what is called the risk-free rate, or maybe like the rate of return, so what happened to your valuation? Okay, so that's something you need to include in your valuation report. Okay, right? So here, if you have the rate of return to be 4.41%, and then you just apply here for the calculation, right? For the previous calculation technique. So you see that the value per share will equal exactly to the current share price of the stock, right? Approximately $83. Okay, so at this $83, the stock will be like fairly valued, right? There's no underprice or overprice. Okay, given the market price of the stock equal exactly to the intrinsic value of the stock at the rate of return to be 4.13%. Okay, you see what I mean right here, right? Okay, so again, if you are not clear about this, so just feel free to send me an email, right? And then maybe you can ask me again to run that, to present that analysis for you. All right, so again, I will share with you the solution, but at least you need to listen to me in the class, right? Otherwise, for the sensitive analysis, this part, if you don't listen, so you cannot find out the correct answer. Okay, so that's something you learn here for chapter 14 about the market-based approach. And for chapter 14, right, the other like problem here, this is not too difficult, but again, you will apply, that is called the residual income model, right? Just similar to the previous problem to solve for problem 14.23. Okay, all right, So, and then compare between PepsiCo and then Coca-Cola. Okay, so for this question, just only two sub-question A and then B. However, you know that for question A, right, just the calculation part, and here, right, ROCE, remember. Maybe some mistake here, it should be the required, the return on common equity. So we have ROCE and then return on common equity. They are the two different terms. Okay, so if the question asks you what is the ROCE, this is return on capital employed. Okay, return on capital employed. So in order to come up with return on capital employed, you take the comprehensive income. Comprehensive income divided by the book value at the beginning of the year. Okay, so similar rule apply here. The book value at the end of the year equal to the beginning value at like next year, right? Book value at the end of a year equal to the beginning value for the next year. Okay, so here very simple, projected ROCE, return on capital employed for like Coca-Cola. Okay, so it's equal to the comprehensive income in year plus 1 divided by the book value at the beginning of year plus 1. Okay, so even though you know that here we have some information, but you have no idea, okay, what is the beginning book value? All right, so you know the comprehensive income already, right? 8,668. That is the comprehensive income in year plus 1, right? And then the beginning book value in year plus 1 is the ending book value in year 2012. Okay, here just look at year 2012 to see that what is the ending book value. All right, so here ending book value, ending common shareholder equity to be this number, $32,790. Okay, so from that information right here, see that you can come up with the return on capital employed. All right, for Coca-Cola. All right, so again, you know that is not too difficult, but that may lead you to the mistake in your exam if you cannot distinguish between return on equity and then return on capital employed. Okay, right, so that's something here that I think you need to be mindful. And you know, right here we have some calculation, however that require you like step-by-step calculation at the residual income model. Okay, so here you may find it familiar to the previous problem and then the topic 5. Okay, so because we don't have much time right here, so I will give you the time to read this part, right, chapter 14.23 at home. And then if you are unclear about something, so in the next section, I will share with you, okay, as you learn about 14, so I will share with you easily. Okay, so that is all the things that we share with you today. And you know that lot of the things, right? So if I just share with you the solution like chapter 14, like problem 14.21, so I think you will understand for sure. However, that take you a long time, and it's, you know, it will come up with the section with Dr. Kim later. So if I share with you the solution for 14.23, so it will take you lots of time. Okay, so basically, right, you will apply what is called the residual income valuation, the one that you learned in topic 5. Okay, apply it here. So if you know about this method, right, that is what we just practiced in 14.21. So you can practice again for this problem, okay, to come up with the intrinsic value, right? The intrinsic stock price, right? It's not just the market price. Okay, here you see that estimated value per share. That is the intrinsic value per share. That is not the market price of the stock. Okay, so again, distinguish between the value to book ratio and then the market to book ratio. They are not similar. Okay, so previous class, they have that question in your exam, so I think you need to be focused on that. Okay, all right, so because we don't have much time, so again, I will share with you this solution on e-learning, right? And then I think that is pretty fair with you if you know about the technique on running sensitivity analysis, right? We just apply that previous technique into that problem, this problem as well, to come up with the expected growth rate and then the rate of return. If you want the share price to be equal to the estimated value per share. Okay, so that's something you need to be mindful about for 14. All right, so is it good for you? Right, I think that maybe you have learned chapter 14, so it is a little bit challenging for you to understand, right? However, if you like preview topic 5 and then apply it here, so I think that it is pretty good. Okay, especially if you preview the chapter day by day. All right, so that is all for today's revision. And then, you know, if you are unclear about this problem, I will share with you again in the next section. Okay, we still have one more section before we end the course. All right, so is it good for you? Is it good with you? Right, I think that is a little bit challenging, right? Because you haven't learned chapter 14. And then, you know, for chapter 10 from Titman, so it's up to 4 problem. Okay, so I will solve that 4 problem in the next section. Okay, so now it's time for you to have the section with Dr. Kim. So let's have like 5 minutes to 10 minute break before you have the section with Dr. Kim. Okay, so see you later next week, and then we will discuss like the last section. All right, goodbye, and then see you all next time. Goodbye. Kim.
I'm sorry, one of our foreign student that I forgot that we have one foreign student in our class. Yeah, and last week the guest speaker. Yeah, when you guys asked for Vietnamese communications, and since then we start Vietnamese communication only. So even though I understand that all the information and the question you asked is about the regulation and the procedure in valuation in Vietnamese context. However, we still, if possible, someone in your group should share the content, yeah, so that everyone is on the same page. Not anyone is excluded. And my apologies for forgetting this point and let you guys speak Vietnamese last week. Okay, So I understand that we have next session as well for our, I mean another session before we can finish, and we will clear on the item, yeah, on the content that you that we have to work together. Okay, so this week, sorry, my son, he is so naughty. Can you get down, Noah? Can you get down, please? Noah, can you get down? Okay, so can I ask one group to start our case this week? Who can start the case now? As usual, I will ask for volunteer. If you don't, then I will call by random. Okay, seems no group want to volunteer. Then I will start. Normally, I will go from small upward, and now I will call down from the big group downward. Okay, so can I ask group 5? Remember, all groups have to be prepared. Okay, so sometimes it is easier for you to present rather than to ask. Okay, because when you ask means you have to understand everything. At least you know what you are asking. Okay, so I will ask group 5 first. Group 5. Who is in group 5? Sorry. So do you hear me now?
Yes.
What happened? So since when you didn't hear me? Did you hear me from beginning or just recently?
Recently, teacher.
Oh, okay. Maybe I try the earphones. I try the speaker. Maybe it's a new one, so it doesn't work. I will try it later then. Okay, so can I ask group? Okay, Phương. You just say something, right? Because you are still raising your hand. Okay, I ask group 5 to start your presentation. Can I ask group 5? If group 5 is no one here, group 5, then I will ask group 4, and I will make notes here that group 5 is not presenting today. On group 5 absent today, okay? How about group 4? Seriously? What happened?
Teachers, I don't know, you know that yet, but like, is this that is the case is from section 11 and 12?
Yes.
Sorry, but
Sorry, is it 11 and 12? Or I can't remember. Did we cover 11 and 12 last session already?
According to a friend, is like the teacher, he taught us in chapter 10, not the chapter 14. So we haven't learned chapter 14 yet.
Okay, if we haven't, then we can do chapter 11. Then how about the chapter 12 or 13?
You mean the section 13 to 14 section?
Yes.
Yes, we
You
have.
haven't studied that section? That's okay.
Yes.
Next session, we still have time for the last session, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we will do session 12 today, 11 and 12 today.
No, teacher, we will skip the 11 and 12, and we have studied the 13 and 14.
Right. And unfortunately, 13 and 14 hasn't been covered last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, we can't do it this week.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me check what else can we do this week. By the way, can I ask your project report, your project work in progress? How have you covered so far? Your hair is beautiful, Phương. Okay, so I'll start from group 5 regarding to your project. No, sit down. Sit down. Group 5. Hang on. Noah, sit down. Con ngủ con này con chơi đây. Ngủ bên này đi. Can I ask group 5? What happened to group 5? No one studying? Okay, so I will ask group 4 then.
Yes, teacher. Wait for me to share the screen.
Sure.
No, not this one. So we do the work layout finish. We and wait a minute. And we have the comparable table, information table. Wait for me.
When is this project due?
No, not this.
When it is project due, everyone? How many weeks?
The voice clip records is on 1st of May, and
Okay.
and the other thing I think that's in June maybe. And we done a little bit of cost approach. We haven't finished yet, and we done a little bit of comparable.
Okay.
We just do it, and we don't know we do it right or not. So I hope that you could give us some comment.
Can you brief your project so far, and you ask what section, what part you want to get advice? Can we be more particular like that?
Okay. So I want to ask that we have the price of the most winter of 3 other similar project that we found on the internet. Yes, and we calculate the average for our project developer, and we calculate on the area of the our project, and we multiply the price 68 million Việt Nam đồng and for a total. So that's the project value, right? Or we have to manage something else.
As a benchmark guy, I request that firstly you need you need to present your subject property or subject project that you want to value. You have to present the full picture, yeah, the full
Okay.
story about that. So the more information you have, then you will have a benchmark why you choose those comparable, and what is the similarities and what is the different against the comparable. Okay,
So we must
from that point,
explain. Yes.
yeah. Okay, so you better, if you show us the whole scenario like that, then we can say what is clear and what is unsure about your valuation. And of course, I think that my laptop is falling down.
Yes.
And you need to have a theory context regarding to valuation. Yeah, and from there you can declare, and you can show in your valuation approach what methods you use and why.
Yes.
Something like that. Okay. Because so far you don't show much about your project, and you ask me.
Yes. So
I'm
sorry.
afraid that I don't have information to give you answer either.
Sorry.
I reckon that you ask more particular question, or you present your work in progress. Okay, so that I can give feedback, or I can raise question back, and by answering those questions, you can give more solidarity into your work.
So
Okay.
may I begin now? Then we do about a Sunwoo project. This is a luxury apartment with more than 300 apartments, and it located at Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Street, Bình Thạnh. Yeah, and it have a commercial area. It have a high class apartment, and it have 3 type of apartment: 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom. The price of Sunwoo, the square meter we found on the internet is of around 70 million Vietnam đồng. And this is other information, and this is the map of the project. Facility. So Sunwoo is plan a commercial center, high service, luxury restaurant. So it's a luxury one. So we want to wildlife first in the comparable approach, because it is easier. So we choose likely luxury apartment that likely to Sunwoo and in the Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Street as well. So we have Saigon Pearl is in Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Street, and it also a luxury. Vinham sorry, my bad, sorry. Let me share it. Where? Wait for me a minute. My bad, sorry. Windham and Wilton Tower, they are on in Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh. They are near Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Street and in Bình Thạnh District, and they are on luxury apartment, and they have a similar price per square meter around 60 to 80 million VND per square meter. So first of all, we use the comparable approach, and next we use the cost approach.
Sorry, can I interrupt you a little bit?
Yes.
Firstly, you need to declare what you are going to do. You want to value an apartment or the home project. I still don't have your statement about that. Firstly, I don't know what you want to do. Yes. You were just showing the Sun Hua. You say you want to the subject property is Sun Hua. So what you want to do? You don't have a statement about what you want to do. Yes. Remember, I told you that you have to declare first a customer, a client wants you to do what. And based on that requisition, now our job is to do this. Okay, first you have to declare what you are required to do. Yes, I still don't see any requirement here. I have no idea what you are doing. And you just raise, you say that your subject project is Sun Hua. So what? And secondly, if you show the you show the similarity, I still do not see any similarity except that you say that you you do Google search and you say that internet say the price is this much. So that is the price that you get about your subject project, right? So then what? If you already find the price, then what you want to do? What you want to tell the client? So you say that just go for that price, or what is next? I have no idea what you are doing. You just talk about something. And if I am a reader, I have no idea what you want to say. Yeah. Okay, so you have to be clear first what you want to do, what you are required to do. And if you want to say that I want to value an apartment, I want to value the home project or what, and then you have to show the detail of that. Say its size, its facility, what is function, etc. If you show all of that, and then the next comparable one. So what is the similarity? Why do you choose that? It seems that you choose just because it's proximity. They are in the same street. And what is, if you compare one big house on that street and one like say degree 4 property, a small and old house, you can't compare like that. It's also in the same street. So what's the similarity between except for the location, except for the proximity? What else? You have to show the similarity. Yeah, as I said last session, that if you make a list of what is similarity, what is different, and what you will do with the different one. Okay.
Yes.
I hope that last week you got lots of idea, lots of information from the Vietnamese guest speaker regarding valuation. You should have something more. I hope that. So I think that if your group still doesn't have good preparation, then let's get prepared better. Okay. Can I ask we can come back with your group after you gather all the information. Okay. Even later into today's session. You don't have to wait until next one. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
If you are ready, you can come back and present your project. I just want to know what you are doing, and at least that now I'm clear about what you are confused. So I hope that in your project, in your report, you will do better. Okay. How about the other group? You have to be clear about your requirement, what you want to do. Okay, and why you choose that. And you have to show the method on the methodologies that you have regarding to this project, and why you choose this one, why you limit. You can't just say that I take the average price. I can't answer that because I see no clues for this. Okay. Okay, Cường.
Okay, so we are from Mutual. So far we will present our progress so far with our group project. Okay, so first I want to talk about our method. So we will compute our calculation valuation based on two methods. So at first that is the cost method, and the second is the comparable method. However, we will we tend to include the discounted cash flow in the comparable method. So however, at first we will talk about our first method is about the cost method. So about the cost method, we tend to analyze the total cost for building the building. So
Sorry, can you also say again, repeat your statement, what you want to do, what your group is about to do. At least we all know the target, the objective of your report.
So in our report, we tend to evaluate the value of the total of the overall project. So we based on the two methods. So at first is the cost method, and the second is the comparable method. However, for the comparable method, we will include the DCF from that. So honestly, we tend to, in our report, we tend to have the purpose is that we tend to buy around 100 or 200 apartment in the project, and we will because right now for our project they are still in the status of the selling the apartment. So we tend to in our report we tend to discuss that we will buy for example 100 apartment of 4 or 2 floors in their project with the price that we have calculated based on our valuation. So that is our purpose of the group project. So it means that we will tend to evaluate the overall price of the block of the apartment in the project. So that is our purpose in that. Yeah. So can I move on? Okay. So based on that, we will base on the two methods. So the first method is the cost approach. So for the cost approach, we tend to analyze the overall cost of the project, and in that we will calculate the cost for per meter square in the project. So at first we calculate the plan acquisition cost based on the price average price per meter square on the street that around the project. Yeah. And we also we are in the progress of calculating the cost for building some utility and also some infrastructure for the building, including the swimming pools grown landscape, green area, infrastructure cost, and parking area, and also the ground filling, also the design. And from that, we will have like the table of the average cost for building, and then we will calculate the total the total aggregate of the land and also the building area. And in that we will multiply with that aggregate to get the cost for building the project. And based on that we will calculate the price for meter square. So that is our first method, and we are still in the progress of the calculating the price, the price for building the landscape and also for the infrastructure and also the utilities. So yeah, so that is the first method, and also the second method is the comparable method. So here's our main project. Is Opal Boulevard from Duxan Group, and the construction aggregate is this number, and apartment aggregate this number, and we tend to compare our project with Flora Novia, Him Lam Phú Đông, Moonlight Residence, and also the Phú Đông Premier. So actually they have like quite the same the range of price per meter square, and also the same segment of the average segment, the average segment. So at first we tend to collect the data of aggregate and also the price and also the range fee from the comparable, and from that we will we will compare the range fees between the comparable with our main project to analyze the number of range fee that could be make sense in this case. And based on that we will from that we could calculate the million per meter square, because we tend to use the cap rate, from the comparable to calculate the cap rate, and based on that we will use the rent fee, the revenue from rent, and also the maintenance cost to calculate the price of the apartment in terms of million per meter square. We have not built the city yet, so but that is our target. And based on that, we could calculate the price of the apartment, and then we will calculate the price of the overall of the block that we tend to buy. So that is our direction for the group project, and also our progress so far. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cương. I have some question. But firstly, can I ask everyone here, do you have any question to ask group 2? Any question? Okay, so my question is, why you want to value the whole block? First question. Second question, give me the data source. Okay, the data source for those information that you want to use in your calculation. And because if you use say the cost, then what is the data source for the cost? How do you get that? And from the cost, if you calculate the cost, then is the cost do you have to adjust anything from the cost into the value of the block? And yeah, I need to you need to clarify that. And also regarding to the comparable method, you use the rent fee, and you need to clarify that that rent is for what apartment. You need to say it clearly. And for the apartment, that is how many bed apartment. You have to clarify that. The more information you clarify about the data you use, then it will say that you need to modify or not. Okay, if you don't modify, then it is good. But even I don't believe that no modification is needed because I still worry that your data use is not very similar. Okay, so give me some clarification about that. And remember, keep in mind that all of these things you need to present in your report. Because if you make your report clear of those information, then the reader don't have to email you back that can you give me this information because I wonder this. Okay, you need to make it clear so no reader want to have to ask you more. Okay. Okay, that's my feedback.
Okay. Wait a minute.
If you don't have the answer right now, it is fine because you haven't finished, right? I just give you some feedback in advance so that I hope that I can receive a good quality report. Okay. So if you don't have question, you don't have answer right now, is fine, totally fine.
So actually there's some question, some of your question we could answer right now, and also there's some of our concern also. So
Yes.
About our project, so when I say that we tend to buy a block, so I think that is like some of my miscommunication. So our group project is not because for our project is over Boulevard. They are in the progress of selling apartment. Gọi là quá trình bàn giao. I do not know how to say it in English. So it means that they still some remaining apartment have not been sold yet. And so in our proposal, we want to assume that in this case that we will buy this apartment for renting. So that is the reason why that our group project will calculate the price to negotiate and price that apartment, and also compare with the value that we will gain for renting. So that is why we use the DCF. And so that's our purpose. So up to now, we're still lack of information how many apartments are remaining right now. And so we are in the status of researching about that. So that is also the first point. And for the second point about a cost model, we have a test some information about like how can we cost the cost. So for example, at first it's about the plan acquisition cost. We check the result from this website. Do you see my screen? Yeah. So here's the list from Mogi, and there's a list of the street and also the district and also the price per meter square that we collect. And then we just take this list to our Excel file and calculate the average price. So that is for the land acquisition cost per meter square. And also for the swimming pool, we research. Actually, we research on the internet, and there's a lot of information when they have the price and also the price param and like the price list and also the cost list for building. So in here we have like some information about some item or some something that we need to have for the building the swimming pool, and then we use that information to attach the price here. And that is the same in the progress of calculating the internal road, landscape, and infrastructure cost. So actually, we base on the information we search on the internet from like some website. They have provide that information. Yeah, in here you can see that for the e-parking, they also have some information about that. So that is, yeah. So that is our like intention to check the like the number of the price in on the market. So we assume that we will based on that information to calculate the cost. So that is the first point, and the second point about the comparable. So actually, let me say again to say my whole screen. Yeah. So actually, we tend to like apply this method that we learned in the chapter A. Yeah, chapter A. So it means that we tend to based on the comparable to analyze the rent and also the maintenance. Also calculate the maintenance cost for our main project. For example, that if our project is the project B, also, and we also based on the comparable to calculate the cap rate, and we assume that the cap rate will remain the same for our project, and based on that we will calculate the property value. So that is our purpose of calculating the estimated property value for the market comparable based on the rent fee and also the maintenance cost. However, there's some point that we are still like in concern because we could not. But I will mention it later. And for the next question is about the cost. So currently we are in the status of calculating the cost of WACC to calculate the cost of capital from Duxan Group, and also calculating the inflation rate. So we tend to draw the progress of building the project since from at the end of 2022, and the beginning is around 2018 as I remember. And we will draw the progress, and then we will calculate the present value at this year based on the inflation rate and or based on the cost of capital from Duxan Group. So it means that we will calculate the discounted value 2000 to the present value of 2022, and we tend to draw the table like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for clarification. I reckon that if you declare that you want to buy a block, how many apartment in one block? You need to clarify you want to buy a block of how many apartment, or you want to buy one apartment of how many beds, say for example. And again, if you want to value that block or that apartment, then you need to say more clearly, like this apartment is located in what block, how it faces, what is the size of that apartment, blah blah blah. Okay, so it is different from value a project. You have to say that, okay, it is facing what street and what is the facility. Okay, if about one apartment, then you will say that what street or what direction it is faced, because again it will be different in terms of, you know, like if I am a buyer, how will I choose one apartment? I will choose the size, right? I will choose the location, I will choose the direction. Just put yourself into the person who will decide to pay for that apartment, right? What is the facility? This apartment will share the facility of the swimming pool of blah blah blah, to list out that, right? And regarding to the cost method, I assume that you need to clarify if you want to calculate the cost of the whole project, then the common area, the cost of having the common area may be divided by the number of the apartment. For example, stuff like that, because how will they pay the fee, the management fee and maintenance fee? If the owner will pay evenly according to the meter, the square meter, then you will divide the cost of the common area into the square meter, right? Everything here, it could have a reason. So when you choose what method, you need to explain, you need to clarify why you choose so, right? It's just like if I want to buy that apartment, I want to buy the whole block. Of course, buying a whole block, I think is not very common, because as an investor, they may only buy like one apartment or two apartments, right? And normally they will buy different places. Say, for example, to diversify the risk, you don't want to buy the whole block, because if that that building has some problem, then you take the whole risk of owning the whole block, right? I reckon that you will buy different apartment at different project, so that if one is not good, then you still have other location that can give you a strong income, right? So just use your common sense when you choose something. Then you have to clarify why you do so. And of course, we all have our theory. The flexibility here is why you choose this particular method, why it is relevant to your project, why you don't choose other method, why you have to choose this. It has some relevance, so declare that, provide that into your project, right? And also regarding to the rent, if you say that the comparable rent, then you have to say that rent is for similar comparable apartment. You can't just compare the rent of a 3-bed apartment with a 2-bed apartment. It is totally different, right? Again, I think that according to what you provide, I will give feedback like this, and I hope that everyone will enjoy. Noah, everyone will enjoy your information and enjoy the feedback so far, and I hope that it helped all of you guys here to improve your project. At least that you learn why you do it and why you have to do it better. Okay. Any other question? Or you can provide something if you want to.
Teacher, actually, I have a little concerns because I understand your recommendation for us. However, because I am considering, because it will take a lot of effort, because if we calculate like, because I understand you not, because you want to mention that not all apartment is right in the same price. For example, different in the number of bedroom or different in size, or whether it is near the evaluator or near the asset, or also like the size also. So we are thinking that maybe that is quite hard for us for implementing that. So I want to ask that if we change our purpose to evaluate the whole project, so could we apply the same method right now, or do we need to change any of them? Because I think that is quite more.
No, but yeah, I see what you mean. Again, evaluate the whole project, evaluate the whole block, evaluate one apartment. It will be it have some pros and cons. It has some easy and not very easy. It has some tricks in every way. It has some tricks. Say, for example, if you collect the information about rent, then you just need to read. You locate the information like, okay, this ad say this apartment for how many bed, right? And if you want to say you want to value the whole block, then you have to declare what is the feature of the block, how many apartment in that block. Even if you want to value the whole project, then you have to you provide that how many block in that project and how many apartment, how many types of apartment. Again, every single project or block or apartment have the difficulty, and it has some tricks. So again, you just need to provide assumption. I reckon that when you collect the information, sometimes you just have to take photo of that. You just store the data that you took into somewhere, because you can go back to check for the information like when you want to. Okay. So if you want to evaluate the whole project, then it's all up to you, because you are talking about the block or apartment, then I say so. If you say about one home project, then I may have other question, because you are presenting something. So I just give feedback against what you just say. Okay, I can't say that the home project valuation is more simple. I'm afraid not, because at that time you have to stand on another point of view. Okay. Of course, I understand that for you all as being student at the moment, it may be more simple to put more assumption, right? But if some information that you collected before and now you can't clarify that, you may just make some more effort. If you can clarify that, and you can again to provide some assumption into those information that you collected before, but now you can't go back and check that, right? But if you later on you work in the industry, then you may have data store in a good way that you can come back easily and check it. Okay.
Yeah. So I understand. So actually, I have like the last question about that. So I understand your suggestion for us. So for assumption for assume that wait a minute. So actually, we tend to do this to find block A, and when we see that from the floor 21 to 35, they have like the same structure, and so could we assume that, for example, that the apartment, this type of apartment in the floor 21 will have the same price of that type of apartment, but in the floor 22. So it means that we just need to evaluate the value of one floor, and we can multiply with that to analyze for some that if we want to buy like from 5 floor in between 21 to 35 in the tower A in this block also. Yeah. So could we assume that like that?
Yeah. What I mean is when I ask you that, it just I mean that you need to provide more information. Yeah. Because say for example, if you want to do a block valuation, then we have to say more feature about one block, and maybe yeah, different block will have different feature, and it can satisfy different kind of people, right? Some people they want a block facing say a quiet street, easy to access. Yeah. Some other people they may like something else. So again, if you want to value a block, then you just have to say the feature of that block. This block, say, view, a green park, or enjoying quiet street, or something else. Okay. You can say the difficulty. You can say the negative point. You can say the more you say, the more you provide information about the subject property.
Yeah.
Then it is you can reflect that into your valuation later. Okay. What I say is that you can't just take anything to compare. If you compare the whole project, then you have to see that say a project like one is say you just say that 14 hectare compared to the other one only 6 or 7 hectares. So what is the difference, and what is the bonus? What is the negative point? What is positive point? Right? You can't just say I compare that and then I put the information like that. The difference is what, and what different value affects your number, your figure. Okay. And I think that other group also learn from your experience into converting the information, yeah, into your valuation. Okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So just give more reason why you do so. Sometimes you don't panic if I ask too much question, because the more question I ask means the more reason you have to put in there. Okay. Sometimes you just provide more explanation and provide more assumption if you can't collect more information. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you, teacher. Yeah. We are quite clear right now. Thank you.
Yeah, and remember that valuation is a science, but it also face some, some subjective judgment. And if you feel those information is important, then you collect more and you reflect that into the report. That is why a report evaluation with more information will give a better valuation, more accurate. If you don't provide information, you just say, okay, is ranking like that, then it has no value because it provides nothing except for the number. And remember that the valuation is in a range. Yeah, you don't have to give an accurate amount. It can be ranging from this to this. And that is the range of the comparable property. If you say that you use the comparable one, that is, say, a little bit older, a little bit bigger, a little bit this, a little bit that, then what a little bit can translate into a slightly higher or lower. That is how you can range from minimum to maximum. Okay, just do it slowly, carefully, and clearly. Yeah, and then you can get there. Don't be panicked. Okay.
Yeah, we're clear now.
All right, thank you. So any other group? Can I have one more group to present your work? Drum.
So, teacher, can you see our screen now?
Yeah.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, very. Thank you.
So we are from group 1 and we are going to do the evaluation for 10 apartments from the project named Game Riverside. So we are serving like a company who invests in various industry, including the real estate industry, and they want to buy 10 apartments from this project for rent. So that they can get the revenue from renting the 10 apartments. So we are going to value the 10 apartments. So for the location, Game Riverside is located in Nam Rạch Chiếc and Phú Quốc district to Ho Chi Minh City. And here is some like basic information about the project. So the apartment, just stop here, please. The apartment choice, we are going to value the two types of apartment, which is the same in area and the same in the like the decoration of the room, but with different direction, so that the customer of our client have more choice when they want to rent an apartment from Game Riverside. So here is the information about the two types of apartment that we are going to value. So this is our methodology. We are using income stream approach to value the 10 apartment of Game Riverside. So the first step that we take is to choose 4 comparable projects, and we choose the comparable mainly based on the location and the handover date. We take the handover date into consideration because Like if the handover date is more than 3 years ago, the apartment may be depreciate much, and it's not appropriate to be a comparable for Game Riverside. And thus the rental price of the 4 comparable will be adjusted by taking the following factor into account, which include the traffic, the available furniture, and the prestige of the developer. So the condition of the building is not appropriate here. Please delete it. So the next step, we are going to estimate the potential gross income of the property. And we make the assumption that the whole apartment for rent of the property generates the maximum income over a year, which means that we assume over the year the total 10 apartments are rented. Like no apartment is not rented. And then we will estimate the vacancy and collection losses. The vacancy losses is from the apartment that are not rented yet, like it not generate the income, and that will be included in the vacancy loss. And the collection losses is because the tenants may not pay the full payment because they have some difficulty in their financial position. And next, we calculate the effective gross income by taking the potential gross income minus the vacancy and collection losses. And the step 4 is estimating the operating expense, which includes the cost of insurance, the management cost, and marketing and sales cost. And here is the progress of calculating the net operating income. So after getting the net operating income, we assume that after 5 years of renting apartment, our client will sell the 10 apartment so that they will take that money to invest in another new project for more revenue. And so we will have to forecast the terminal value at the end of the 2027 by estimating the future selling price of the property based on the current average selling price of the 4 comparables and the growth rate of the Vietnamese residential real estate market. And then we will calculate the discount rate. Here is the weighted average cost of capital. And the next step, we will estimate the value of 10 apartments of Game Riverside using the discounted cash flow technique. And final one, we will conduct the sensitivity and scenario analysis. And currently we have finished the step 7. So Newton, can you please go through the process? Start with the market comparable. So we have 4 comparable. The first one is Mart Terrace An Phú, located in the Hanoi Highway An Phú Wat district 2, with the rental price in the 3rd column and the image in the last column. So we choose the apartment, the rental price for the apartment in comparable, which are like nearest to the areas of the apartment we are value in Game Riverside. And the third order comparable are the Luxor, Palm Heights, and the Sun Avenue. And all of them are located next to the Saigon River and in An Phú Wat. Like we see that they are in a similar location. So here we make the adjustment on the prestige of developer, the location advantage, or the traffic that I mentioned before. And the final one is the final one is the available interiors. So the below table is our calculation after adjustment. We calculate the rental price for Game Riverside is currently equal to 210,000 Vietnam dong. So now we get the rental price of Game Riverside as the gross operating income, and we will come to calculate the net operating income. So Newton, can you please present this table for teacher, because I do not understand well this step.
Based on the explanation that Minh Thảo present before, first we calculate to calculate the net operating income. First, we calculate the potential gross income, which include the rental income and the non-rental income. The rental income, we take the rental price that is calculated by taking the average of the adjusted price in the table above, and we assume that the rental price will grow at 15%, which is the same growth rate of the Vietnam residential real estate. So an area per apartment that we would like to evaluate is about 71 square meter, and we multiply by 10 apartments, we get the total area that we will evaluate. So the rental income is calculated by the product of the rental price per apartment multiplied by the total area. We got the rental income here, and the non-rental income. As our research, we find that so the residents need to pay from 7,000 to 25,000 VND per square meter a month on average for management of apartment. So because our project include luxury apartments, so we assume that our customer will pay us 25,000 VND for a management cost, which is the non-rental income. So we take 25,000 VND multiplied by the total area and the 12 months, we got the non-rental income, and we sum the rental income and non-rental income, we will get the potential gross income. And next step.
Yes. So here for the vacancy rate, we assume that in the first year, which is 2022, we will have 30% of the apartment rented, and for 2023, we get 20% more apartment rented, and we go through 2027 where the whole 10 apartments are rented. So the vacancy loss will equal to the vacancy rate multiplied with the number of apartment multiply with the area per apartment and multiply with the rental price.
Is that done?
After we calculate all of the components in the potential clause, we take the potential gross income minus the potential clauses. We get the effective gross income, and we continue to calculate the operating expenses. By making any assumption, we assume that the insurance cost is equal 0.1% of the potential gross income, and about the maintenance cost, we assume it will take 60% of the non-rental income, and the sale and marketing costs. That is the cost we will pay for the third party who find the tenants for renting our apartment. So the fee that we pay for the third party is equal to 1 monthly rental price of an apartment, and we multiply by the rented apartment. We get the sale management cost here, and we sum all of the costs, the insurance costs, maintenance costs, and sale costs. We get the operating expense. We use the effective gross income minus operating expense. We get the net operating income. Yeah, and this is our net operating income flow calculation.
Okay, something new. I appreciate group 1 and group 2 that you have worked very hard so far. Nevertheless, the more you present, the more question I ask. It doesn't mean that you didn't do well. It just means that I want you to put more information, to clarify, to convince your work. In this case, you want to value the whole block, and you show if you say that this if you buy this block, you consider buying this block from the direct investor. I mean the project owner. You don't buy from from a secondary investor. Then that could be a different story, because at the moment, if you say you want to you consider buying it from the project owner, then the price is the original price, and it means that you don't negotiate for the price, right? And now you are just evaluate if your price is the good investment or not. So you will declare that we are evaluating the value of this project, of buying this building based on this blah blah blah, because you already have the price. Yes, the project owner already offered the price. The price is that if you agree, you will pay this much, and you will pay the balance, say when in how many installment until say you receive say the paper, the completion paper, right? That is why I need you to understand the subject property that you want to evaluate. You can't just use your imagination. You can't do that to make up the whole story, because the more you make story, the more question I will ask, right? Say for example, you will say that the subject property in this report is the whole block, and you have to declare that the whole block enjoying what facility, and when it is expected to be handed over, when it is say expected to move in, or to say to receive the completion paper, and what is the schedule payment for this project, right? And based on all of this information, now we are going to evaluate the value of the project based on what? Based on say the potential income, because you are going to say to rent it out, right? And you need to be reasonable about the rent potential, the potential income, because you are saying that you expect every year it will the rent income will increase by 15%. That is that the medium, or is that the highest? Do you expect that every year it will increase 15%? That is what I doubt. It may even lower, or it may be equal, or it may be what, 5% or so. You need to be reasonable about that. And the rent will be reduced because of what? Because of the building is older, or something else. Or if you want to maintain the rent income to be the same, yeah, or even I don't believe that it is too high like that. I think I'll say 10% is pretty high already, and you need to be more specific about that. The worst scenario is that say what scenario? Say the building will be older and more competitive if many more apartment is completed, and more apartment for rent is you know, presented in the market, then you have to face the price down. And also you say I guess that maybe 10% per year for say a few years in a horizon, and then later on it will be even, or you have to pay more for the maintenance and stuff. And also I'm not quite sure about the non-rental income. Please provide more information or clarify with the industry if tenant have to pay for that non-rental income or not, and how. Okay, or at least that you have the sources, the reference to reinforce the non-rental income. I doubt that the tenant will pay that. And I think the owner had to pay some to the management board for looking after the building, the block. not the other way that you ask tenant to pay for that one. Okay, and regarding to the rent, you have to do some sensitivity analysis. Say, for example, if you know, for some economic, for some COVID, I believe that now maybe because of the COVID situation, so you need to evaluate this block has how many floors, and does it support the COVID scenario? Say, for example, how to keep the building, you know, clean and maintain the hygiene and stuff like that. Because now we have more awareness of the health and safety. So if you evaluate that, and you can also do that in the sensitivity analysis. Some factor that can affect the building, and we have to face the reducing rental income. For example, okay, what else? I suggest that in the first part that Minh Thảo presented, you present the map and the outlay of the apartment. I reckon that you also have some what to say, a summary of the feature of the property. What is the good point about this that you consider to buy, because you are considering to buy, right? So you should present something, the good and not good about the property. It is not about the bad point, it is the awareness that we have to be realistic when you do valuation. Yeah, when you do valuation. I tell you what, I am now considering myself to buy a property in Australia. This is what I have done. I just share with you. Of course, the property that I'm going to buy is in my finance affordability. So at first that we have the price offer, right? Like in your case, you already have the price offered by the project owner, right? They give you that price, and the question is, can you negotiate or not? So in my case, I can negotiate, right? I think in your case, you don't. You can only take it or leave it, okay? And in my case, if I want to negotiate, then I have to give reason why the price should be at that amount, right? As a buyer, we try to push the price down, and the vendor try to raise the price up, right? So we try to use our own reason, our own logic to convince. Noah, lower. We try to convince that. In your valuation, you don't have to be in the position of the buyer or the vendor. You are in the neutral one, right? So you just have to collect all the information, and you say this information will reflect a positive point in the value, and that will present a negative point in the value, because you are not presenting for anyone, right? You just do valuation, and then you can say that the value of this property is between this and this range, right? That's it. So that is what I say. if you want to use what method, then you have to give reason about that. For this scenario, I guess that you already have the offer price. So now you are evaluate the value of paying that much, right? So it's still, you know, you can ignore the purchase price. You just evaluate ignore the purchase price and evaluate the value of the subject property based on what it can bring back to you in the future. It can be, say, the rental income and the capital gain. The capital gain is the future value when you sell that property, right? If you don't sell, then what is the market value in the future? You need to estimate that. Okay. And I think that for this reason, again, I should go back to the comparable rent income, because two groups already use the comparable rent. I suggest that if you use the comparable rent, then you have to say to provide more information about the rent. The rent is the rent income. The rent paid for how old is the property, how many beds, and what street, what facility, something like that. Of course, I don't ask you to modify. I just want to see the similarity, because say like this group one just show us that you guys also choose the rent of the subject of the comparable property that not, you know, very old compared to your new one is about to hand over. Okay, so if you choose say an old one, then we can say adjust the rent. You can compare. If you have other information, you can, you know, Google how much is the, you know, like the rent, and you can see a lot, like how old is the property, how many beds, and the size of the property, etc. Right. So from that point, you can do some statistic. You can generalize how much the rent will be from this amount to the next amount, to the higher amount. You can generalize that. So you can say either take the mean or the medium of the rent income. Okay. It just so that you don't just blindly take any rent income and use that for comparable, but you do some research, and after researching, then you say that we will take the medium one, about this much. Yeah. Or you can say that our property is new and have more premium quality, so we will take the highest rent income. Okay, just give more reason, more explanation why you take this. All right. And sometimes if you can't get information, then you just have to use more explanation. The explanation is to protect you in the future. that we are aware of this scenario. However, we don't have more information. Yeah, so the more explanation, the more assumption will protect you and to show the reader that you are aware of that situation. We just don't have more information. Okay. Again, for the what method you use, you just have to provide more information. Okay. Do you have any clarification or feedback?
So some of the feedback, we actually did that. For example, the how many beds, how many WC in the apartment we have in the comparable document. Can you please switch to the...
Yes. Yes, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe we presented too fast, so like we skip it a bit.
I'm afraid you didn't say it. You just show it. That's why I didn't have impression. Yeah. So that's good if you have it.
So about the growth rate of rental price, we detect the Newton, can you please go to the website of Vietnam? The website to that we take the growth rate. That is here. We get it from the model intelligence calculation. We take the minimum growth rate of Vietnamese real estate market of 50% for the growth rate of rental price. But like we will adjust for the depreciation of the building that you mentioned before. We will adjust for the depreciation of the building.
Good.
And like for the short, where we get the maintenance cost, Newton also presented it is in the NOE calculation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I just give some feedback just to remind you to present it in your report. So you have any other question, any concerns, anything to clarify?
So we are also calculate the WACC. Can you please take a look at it?
How do you calculate the WACC?
Yes. Can you go to the Google Doc, discount rate calculation? So here we use the WACC as the discount rate, and we use Dutch Sand Group WACC for the discount rate of the project because we like we see that the Dutch Sand Group are mostly operate in the real estate market, and the risk of Game Riverside project will be somewhat the same with the Dutch Sand Group risk overall.
Are you so you are you as a small investor compared to the Sun? So do you believe that you can have the same WACC as the Sun, or do you believe that your cost of capital will be higher or lower? You have to convince that. Okay, why you should have a similar cost of capital compared to the sun? Because you remember that the sun, it has it is you know, a famous one, so it can access onto the say the loan at maybe at cheaper. How about its cost of capital, its cost of equity? You should do some research about that. Or you how much is WACC of the sun at the moment, and how you can use that for your in a small investor. Okay, just give some idea, some information, some convince why you should use that. Okay, I just give some example. All right, just clarify that in your report.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
No problem. Any other question? Okay, if you guys don't have any further question, can I ask that next session, I hope that you all will finish the chapter 14, so we can have a look and try on the last case. And remember that we do not only finish the report, but we also have to prepare for your final examination. Okay, so I wish you all have the rest of the term still full of energy and enthusiastic in doing this course. Okay. If you have any question, please just let me know or Miss Lin. So we work together to help you to complete this course nicely and successfully. Okay? We can finish here. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, teacher. Bye bye.
Bye.